Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day to all of you who are joining me for this executive communication webinar. Today we're going to talk about how we can manage difficult people. How do we deal with challenging personalities at work, which can be super stressful? I'm going to provide some tangible strategies and techniques for you to navigate these kinds of situations effectively, confidently, with poise, and with grace. So we are going to get started with that. I just want to take some time now to introduce myself. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Mary Daphne, and I'm thrilled to have all of you here today joining me for this session. As an executive communication coach, my passion lies in helping professionals like you become powerful, confident communicators. Whether you're aiming to enhance your executive presence, navigate difficult conversations, or build social fluency, my goal is to empower you with the skills to shine in any social situation across multiple communication contexts and in different types of situations. And I've been very fortunate to spend nearly 2 decades immersed in the world of education, ed tech, international communications, television, and broadcasting. And I hold 2 master's degrees, and my advanced master's is from Columbia University, where my focus has always been on ed tech, leadership, communication strategies, and cross-cultural skills. As a Fulbright grant recipient and teacher trainer, I've had the incredible opportunity to work with diverse professionals, executives, and leaders from all around the world, equipping them with communication techniques that are practical, impactful, and data-backed, which is something that is very, very important. And throughout my journey, I have built and developed Explearning Academy, which is a professional development platform where we bring together international professionals who are dedicated to improving their confidence and their communication skills for both work and their personal lives. And at Explearning Academy, we focus on teaching and learning actionable communication strategies that will serve you in life and at work, and also helping you practice essential social skills to boost social fluency and social confidence. And also we have an amazing supportive community where we encourage growth and learning. And so it's an amazing place to be and practice your communication skills. And the mission here in our academy, Explearning Academy, is to empower each and every one of you, each member, to communicate your value effectively, boost your confidence, and enhance your social fluency at work and in life. And by doing so, we help boost your confidence. We help to, improve your chances of getting the jobs you want, of building the career you want, building the life you want with the people you want in the countries that you want, and level up your careers and have a greater impact both professionally as well as socially, and also build deeper, more meaningful connections with people, because we are social creatures and we need to have that deep social interaction with people from all parts of our lives. So I'm very excited to share with you some transformative, game-changing strategies that are going to help you improve all of the things that we've discussed, predominantly your executive communication and your social fluency and confidence. And we use these strategies and techniques here in Explearning Academy. So I'm going to give you a taste of what we do. And you can always join our self-study program, which is an amazing opportunity and, a chance really for you to improve your skills. So, like I said, whether you're here to polish your leadership presence, improve your confidence in business interactions, boost your social fluency, or simply gain some new tools to level up your communication game, you are in the right place. So before we get started, I want to share with you a little bit about our methodology and our approach. We use data-driven communication strategies to help you have that maximum professional impact. The work that we do in our community is very much hands-on and interactive. That way you actually get to practice the strategies. You get to do hands-on activities, real-world scenarios, real-world simulations. And in our community, it is a low stress, low stakes environment. So that will help you prepare for those opportunities when you have to really make a real impact. And you now know how to do that because you've practiced it in our community. So when you have to go out in the real world and do that in a high stakes, high risk way, because it actually has a real bearing on your career and on your job and on your social life, you're able to do that so much easier, so much more, confidently, because you practiced it in our community and because you had all the strategies and tools and techniques that we prepared you with in our community. So we have a community of practice. That means that you don't just learn from myself and the other expert executive communication coaches in our community, but also the other people who are in the community, people like you, people who are international professionals and professionals who want to get ahead in their careers, who want to improve their social skills and confidence and executive communication skills. And guess what? You get to network as well. So it's not just making friends, but it's also networking. So you get to meet people who potentially will become, a business partner or a colleague or a mentor or a peer or, somebody that you might start a business with down the line, down the road. So very exciting, lots of opportunities. They just await you in our community at Explearning Academy. And our programs are results focused. They are transformative. You get real results because these are actionable strategies that we give you, and you get to apply them in your real world scenarios in real life, and they really make a meaningful difference. You get the results that you are looking for. We've got things like 5-day challenges, 10-day challenges, web courses, programs, boot camps, a masterclass that's very popular, the Executive Excellence Masterclass. That's a 33 module course. So really big, beefy course that is excellent. And we have people who do it again and again and again because they love it that much. And, it's each of our programs are designed for measurable progress. So you get to see exactly how much you are improving. We have assessments, we have guides, we have expert feedback for you, and also opportunities to connect with other members and engage with them. So very exciting stuff. In today's webinar, what you can expect are tools and strategies that I'm going to share with you to help elevate your communication skills, practical insights to build confidence in your business communication and social fluency, and also techniques to enhance professional and personal growth. So if you're ready, then let's get started. I'm so excited to share this topic with you. Very important because we need to be able to know how to do this exactly. And guess what? I have a lot of wonderful techniques for you. So let me share my screen like this. Let's make sure you can see everything. And let's get started. Okay, so this is a very important topic that many of us might struggle with in the workplace and, in life in general, because the reality is we need to know how to be able to deal with people who tend to be a little bit difficult, right? So we're going to explore some strategies and techniques in this webinar today that, that are going to help you navigate these difficult situations effectively. So we will cover how to identify and how to understand different types of difficult behaviors, as well as practical communication approaches to be able to address them, right? And then by the end of this webinar, my goal for you is that you're going to have a toolbox of skills to better manage difficult people, and also to create a more harmonious work environment for your team. So that is the goal here, and stick with me because that is what those are the results we're gonna achieve today. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this now. We are gonna look at here. Why isn't this? There we go. Just one moment. I got so excited that it flashed before us very quickly. Okay, so as you know, this is a very important topic, and workplace dynamics, can be disruptive, right? Teams can get disrupted. They can impact productivity. They can create a kind of a negative atmosphere where we don't really want to be at work. It can lead to decreased morale, more stress, more conflicts within the workplace. So these are some of the challenges of difficult people, right? So some of these behaviors can include, aggression, aggressiveness, passive aggressiveness, which you may have heard of, negativity, a lack of collaboration and coordination and cooperation, right? These kinds of behaviors can be rooted actually in personality traits, right? Some people tend to have that kind of personality. It could be certain communication styles, maybe even cultural backgrounds where there's certain types of styles that are promoted, like direct interaction, direct communication versus indirect communication, and even just work-related issues, right? So these are things to be mindful of, and they impact the work environment, right? And in a negative way, unfortunately. Why? Well, they create tension among colleagues. They create tension among clients and stakeholders and with, managers, maybe even mistrust, a lack of collaboration, which can hinder the success of teams and the success of projects that might be happening. So this is why we really need to be able to understand and learn how to deal with negative people. Okay. Let me go to my next slide here. And, this is not something where you're going to completely be able to, avoid. You can't avoid negative people. You can't avoid difficult people. But these strategies that I'm going to share with you are going to help you manage difficult people in a way that you are proud of, that is going to keep your integrity intact, and is going to keep you as the confident communicator and leader that you are, or that you're meant to be. So let's have a look now at some of the personality traits, identifying these, difficult personality traits so that you know what to look for. And look, you might even exhibit some of these qualities, in which case you'll be aware of maybe how you are projecting yourself to people. You might not be aware of this until you see some of these qualities and personality types. Okay, so passive aggressive, right? Passive aggressive individuals are, they tend to express their anger indirectly. So in a covert way, they're not necessarily voicing it. They're not showing aggressive very overtly. It's more passive. So they might use sarcasm, they might use procrastination, or even just be resistant to authority. They might make some off-colored comments or remarks. They might, mutter something under their breath. They might show passive aggressiveness in their body language and show it that way. Then narcissistic tendency people, they have, a sense of entitlement, and they might lack empathy. They might be manipulative, they might be demanding, they might kind of, be very self-absorbed. This is very possible, right? And then we've got aggressive types who tend to be more direct. So where passive aggressiveness was covert, this is overt aggression, right? This is direct. So they might express their anger openly, and you can visibly see them, right? They have a visceral negative reaction to something and show that anger and show that heightened emotion, even in, in situations where you would never expect them to be aggressive, like in a meeting or with clients or with stakeholders. You might be shocked at how they're exhibiting their anger like this, even in these inappropriate contexts where they're meant to be more professional, right? But look, this is the type of aggressive behavior that some of these difficult personality types might exhibit. And then we've got other personality types that are challenging, and that could include, perfectionists, where nothing's ever good enough and they never get the job done on time because they find something always wrong with their work, or they're never able to just hand it in on time because they feel like it's not complete, even though it is complete and there's a deadline and people are waiting and, expecting things of them, and the team is expecting work from them. Could be like that. There could be complainers. There could be overly sensitive individuals that just make it difficult to give feedback to or to be, collaborative with. So these are some of the difficult personality types that we can identify. Okay, what about passive aggressive behavior? So we've got some indirect communication, right? That's when individuals show their dissatisfaction through some subtle kind of cues and hints, like sarcasm, procrastination, and they don't necessarily, address the issue. They kind of tiptoe around it. They beat around the bush, in other words. Then we've got resentment and manipulation, right? People might harbor resentment or even negative feelings towards people and subtly attempt to maybe manipulate situations or undermine authority or other people's efforts. So that's another thing to look out for. And it could even be emotional undermining, where there's this toxic work environment that comes about because people feel undermined and, morale is undermined, and so is collaboration, in which case, that could be emotional undermining. And this is a type of passive aggressive behavior as well. With narcissistic behavior, there's this sense of holier than thou kind of self-righteousness, a sense of grandiosity, right? A need for admiration, a need for constant positive remarks, and maybe even a lack of empathy for other people. They could be overly critical, not necessarily of just themselves, although that can also happen, but more so of other coworkers, because again, they feel good about themselves, but they feel like colleagues might not be rising to the occasion and doing as well as they could be or as well as they are doing, even though this might not be true at all, right? And they could be overly critical and then take credit for other people's work, be dismissive of any constructive feedback. In other words, not be receptive to feedback that people have for them and for their work. So these are things to be on the lookout for as well. And then we've got aggressive behavior, right? They might be very loud, hostile, or confrontational, even when it is very inappropriate to do so. To be honest, in work environments, it's inappropriate to act this way, right? As we know. So they have no qualms about that because maybe they can't control it, or maybe they're not aware of it, or maybe they just don't care. So they might interrupt people. They might be loud and dismissive of people. They might make threats. They might engage in physical or verbal abuse, which is really, really bad. And this kind of behavior is so toxic and creates such a toxic work environment. So if this is a situation that you have encountered as a leader, as a colleague, it's very important to address this type of aggressive behavior promptly and with taking the appropriate measures to do so. So, things like setting clear boundaries, using assertive communication in a calm, composed manner, right? These techniques can help you de-escalate situations and also establish a safer and more productive workplace. And these are things that, are very important to address head on and early on, as soon as people are made aware of this kind of aggressive behavior. Okay, so with communicating effectively with difficult individuals, you have to be very smart about it, okay? There is a special way of doing it. So the first thing is through empathy and understanding, right? First of all, try to have a little bit of an empathetic approach, even when it is difficult, even when somebody is being very aggressive or passive aggressive or making rude comments, unsavory remarks towards you. Try to see things from their perspective, even if you don't agree, which you probably won't, right? You will probably disagree, but do your best to be on, higher ground and, be cognizant of maybe something that they're going through. Listen actively to their concerns and try to understand why they're motivated to act this way. Why have they had that outburst? Why are they behaving this way? Try to figure out what the root cause is if you can. Use clear and concise communication. This is a general rule of thumb in general, especially in workplace settings, because, we really want to make an effort to communicate as succinctly and clearly and confidently as time will allow. And it depends on us, right? So, try to avoid language that is confusing, nebulous, leaves room for lots of error, for misunderstandings, and definitely stick to the facts. Don't make assumptions. Don't make generalizations. Don't make, unsavory remarks or anything like that, because that's going to just lead to further conflict. And the point is to de-escalate, not to escalate. And then always have a respectful tone, right? Even when dealing with difficult behavior where it's really going to test your patience, take a moment to breathe, to calm down, to have that professional and respectful tone. And don't get defensive. Don't escalate the situation. If you need to take a little time out and, say, all right, I'm going to run to the coffee shop real quick, or I have a call that I need to take very quick. Even if you don't have a call, you just find a way to get out of there so you can calm yourself, compose your nerves, and go back in when you're ready to. So active listening is going to play a huge role in this. To do so, focus and concentration, right? Really pay attention to the speaker, whoever's talking. Avoid any distractions. Focus on their words and on their nonverbal cues, not just what they're saying, but how they're saying it, because that's going to give you cues and it's going to give you an understanding, an idea as to why are they behaving this way in the first place, right? So that's really going to help you try to understand and get to the bottom of it. Very important. Always ask open-ended questions. If you're going to ask a question, make sure that it's open-ended so that you can ask for clarification, you can ask for, comprehension. Make sure that you understand. You also show engagement. When people feel like you're engaged and they're being heard, it's going to go so much better. That interaction is going to go so much more smoothly, especially if tensions are high and, there might be some heightened emotions there. Always look for opportunities to reflect and paraphrase, because this is going to help you make sure that you're on the same page as people. Do it in your own words, though, because you don't want to just be a parrot and mimic exactly everything what they say verbatim. But this way it shows that you're listening and you can actually process the information that much better. And then, of course, empathy and validation will help you very much. This is how you're going to help understand, how you're going to understand the speaker's feelings, even if you don't agree with them. So validation is not about agreeing with somebody. It's about saying, I hear you. I understand what you're saying, right? It's not, I agree with you. It's, you are valid for feeling this way. And it immediately de-escalates a tense situation. Assertive communication is what you're going to use to communicate with difficult people. So first, express your needs, right? Tell the person what you actually need, what you need from them, why you need them to behave a certain way. Clearly articulate those thoughts and your feelings. And if you don't know what they are, before you talk to them, you should figure out what these are so you're prepared. So prepare, right? Don't use passive-aggressive language. Don't use sugarcoating. Just get to the point, be frank, be direct, be assertive, be confident in your communication. Set boundaries, right? So define the parameters and the limits, and then make sure you enforce them. If you don't enforce them, then they're not going to take it seriously. So you have to let people know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And that goes for communication, that goes for behavior, and so on and so forth. Always employ active listening strategies, right? Show empathy for people's perspectives, because this is going to help you get to the bottom of any situation where there is tension or where there might be some friction. And then use I statements. This is going to help you not only hold yourself accountable, but diffuse any tension or potential tension that might arise, because you're taking ownership of how you feel, of your feelings. You're not blaming people, you're not accusing people, but you are taking ownership of the way you feel and holding yourself accountable to that. Very, very important. And another excellent tactic to kind of lower the tension in the room if there is tension. Leaders are very good at maintaining composure under pressure. So if you are a leader or a rising leader and you want to become somebody who is a leader, then you've got to learn how to stay calm and composed. So you can employ strategies like taking deep breaths, breathing well, pausing and thinking before you respond. Don't react, respond. Focus on facts. Separate the problem from the person, right? The person and the problem are not the same. Even if it's a difficult person, try not to view that person as the problem. View the problem, like the behavior might be problematic, or the communication they're using might be problematic, or other things about them might be problematic, but not the person themselves, right? Really try hard to separate those, because that's going to help you de-escalate the situation and avoid making it an even bigger problem than it already is, and get faster to finding a solution, right? So just take a moment, right? Just pause, breathe, compose yourself. Don't say anything in haste or that you might regret later. You don't want that to backfire or come back to bite you, because it will if you do that. Focus on facts. Don't get caught up in the emotions of things. Be very, deliberate about what you're saying and how you're saying it. And then try to be positive. Maintain a calm tone. Maintain a positive tone. Be as calm and collected and positive as possible, as time will allow. And when there is a conflict, try to focus on collaborative problem solving. Do this together as a team. Find ways of treating conflict as an opportunity to learn from each other, as an opportunity to build rapport, as an opportunity to get closer to your teammates. Focus on the solutions where everyone can benefit, that there's a win-win for as many people involved as possible. It might not be possible to have a win-win for everybody, but it could be possible to have a win-win for the majority of the people in that conversation or in that team, whatever it might be. So try to focus on that, because that's going to serve you well. Sometimes mediation is required, where you bring a neutral third party in that is not, taking sides or anything, but is objective. And that can help resolve disputes and establish common ground if you're not able to come up with a solution on your own. In that case, it might be worth bringing in somebody from the outside. It could be from a different department or a different company even, or somebody who will be able to be more objective and kind of see both sides and help you come to a solution if you're not able to do it on your own, right? Negotiation is also very important, where you can try to meet a mutually acceptable agreement where it's a win-win, and all parties involved need to be prepared to compromise a little bit, because that's the name of the negotiation game. Find solutions that satisfy everyone's needs, right? Figure out what's most important to you and what you can compromise on, and then go from there, because that's very important as well. All right, so if we're going to be establishing boundaries and managing expectations, we really have to do our very best at defining clear limits, right? Set those boundaries so people know what you expect of them. You level set on expectations. They know what's acceptable, what's unacceptable, and make sure that you communicate these frequently and from the get-go, right? Make sure that these limits are effectively communicated so that you prevent misunderstandings, you avoid conflict whenever possible, and you protect yourself as well and your team from unnecessary stress, right? You don't want to have to be dealing with this all the time, because you have actual work that needs to get done. So even if there's a brilliant, person on your team, but they're very, very difficult, if you don't set these parameters and they don't change their behavior, then it's not worth having that person on your team, no matter how brilliant they are. So keep that in mind, right? And also set realistic expectations. Level set on expectations. Make sure the goals are smart, they're realistic, and don't overcommit to things that you can't really deliver on. So under promise, over deliver is always better. And because this really helps prevent conflict and prevent disappointment, and also fosters trust. And then, of course, we have open, transparent communication. You want to foster open dialogue and make sure that your expectations and limitations are clearly conveyed to people so that they know. Because you don't want people to just, stumble upon your expectations one day and said, oh, I wish I had known this. And you never made it clear for them to find, or easy for them to find. So encourage open dialogue, not just between you and your team if you're the leader, but also between teammates, between colleagues. Very important. It boosts morale, boosts productivity, and also creates a much more healthy work environment, which is a goal, right? So how do we foster a positive work environment? Of course, it comes down to respectful communication. You want to promote transparent communication and transparency, authentic dialogue, active listening, constructive feedback where it's both give and take, not just people receiving feedback, but you're also, receiving feedback and sharing feedback. Team collaboration where people have a shared sense of responsibility, shared goals. There's teamwork that they're, excited about. And creating this sense of sharing knowledge transfer, and having people want to share information with people as opposed to being competitive, right? Being collaborative, not competitive. Recognizing also employees, acknowledging and celebrating employees and individuals, and also team achievements. This is a great thing. Celebrating milestones, even if they're small, really shows appreciation for people's hard work and dedication, and it makes people feel good. So maybe having a pizza party, or a nice coffee, or a lunch, or even just sending out an email blast and congratulating people, that shows lots of appreciation and dedication to hard work. And then, of course, work-life balance is very important, right? We want to support a healthy work-life balance, maybe have flexible working arrangements, encouraging employees to take time off, to take breaks, to recharge. These are important things because sometimes people tend to be difficult because they just are burnt out, right? They don't feel maybe valued at work, or they don't feel like their contributions are being celebrated, and that's never a good feeling. So keep those things in mind and try to strive for a healthy work-life balance. Okay, so in terms of takeaways and next steps, we want to make sure that we're developing empathy, because this is very important, not just when you're interacting with people, but especially difficult people, right? And the topic of today's webinar is managing difficult people effectively. So put yourself in those difficult people's shoes and try to see things from their perspective. Always choose your battles. Not every battle is worth fighting, okay? So you don't always have to be confrontational or confront the person every single time. Recognize when it's most beneficial to just let go of some minor issues or hiccups along the way, and when is it, appropriate to address these things head on, because you really want to keep the harmony. You don't always want to rock the boat. You want to maintain a productive work environment and keep morale high. If possible, if necessary, seek professional help, right? There's nothing wrong with that. If you're really struggling to manage somebody who's particularly difficult, and they tend to be difficult, even if they're a brilliant star employee in other aspects, you might, seek guidance from HR or get a professional mediator if that's, appropriate and necessary, because some situations might very well call for that. And then always continuous learning, right? We always want to strive for ongoing, continuous learning, because the reality is things like managing difficult people can be an ongoing process. So continue to learn, refine your communication skills, effectively learn how to navigate challenging work relationships, because that's going to serve you well, particularly as a leader and as somebody who wants to be even in the C-suite, right? These are very important skills for your career development and growth. So if you want more practice, then I highly recommend you check out our self-study program. It is a wonderful platform, Explearning Academy, for you to improve your communication skills, your professional skills, your social skills, your confidence, and you get all of these wonderful things, including more. There was no space to add all that you get on this slide. But if you want to learn more, you can go to this website and check out academy.explearning.co, which is our professional development platform, Explearning Academy. And it is a monthly membership of $20 a month where you get unlimited access to everything in our community, and we're constantly adding new things. There are live events, there's opportunities to network, opportunities to make friends, have social calls with people in the community, video calls, casual meetups, and it's an amazing place for self-discovery as well as for professional development. You can scan this QR code if you want to download our app, and you get a nice big discount when you sign up for the year. So that's a little bit about us. I highly encourage you to check out this website, academy.explearning.co. And in the words of one of our lovely members, they say, best investment, you won't regret it. So definitely, investing in your communication skills is truly an investment in yourself and in your future and in your potential job opportunities and your future life, the life that you want for yourself, that you want to manifest and make come true. And, this is something that you're going to use all throughout your life. So these are important skills to have and to develop and to hone and to perfect and master over time. So it's an investment in yourself and an investment in your future. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm very proud of you also for, coming onto this webinar and joining me for it. It is an investment in you, and you are showing that. That is the fact that you showed up today is testament to that. If you want the guide that goes along with this, as well as the slides, then you can create an account in our community by going to academy.explearning.co, and you will get all that extra information that can only be found in our community. So thank you so much again for joining me. And I will see you very soon for another class. And I'll see you even sooner when you join us live in our wonderful communication professional development network, Explearning Academy. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. See you soon.